Hello everyone, I'm second year student of the group OAB22 Aliyev Aknur, and today I will tell you about the sources of international air law. Now I will tell you about basic principles of international air law, the principle of sovereignty over airspace, and the objectives of the regulation. Introduction. Cooperation between states on the most diverse issues of international flights, international air transportation, and international air communication is implemented as a rule in the form of an international treaty and custom. In international air law, various names for such an agreement are used: treaty, convention, agreement, protocol to the convention, memorandum, exchange of the notes. International treaties, agreements are divided into multilateral and bilateral. Examples of the former are the Warsaw Convention of 1929, the Convention of International Civil Aviation of 1944, the Montreal Convention of 1999, and the Cape Town Convention of 2001. Importance in the legal regulation of international air service and agreements between airlines designated carriers on the operation of international air service. Basic principles of international air law. The core of international air law is the basic principles which should be understood as the generally recognized norms of international law of the most general nature. Their principles are imperative and contain obligation erga omnes. There is obligation towards each and every member of the international community. The principles combine the norms of international air law or its various institutions which apply to certain participants in interstate air transport relations into a single legal system. Whenever there is need to resolve new problems, the principles serve as a criteria for legitimacy and newly adopted norms. The principle of sovereignty over airspace. Each state exercises full and exclusive sovereignty over airspace located above its state territory, which is reflected in the air codes of many states and confirmed in Art. 1st of the Chicago Convention of 1944. Sovereignty of airspace is an integral part of state sovereignty. Therefore, the common property supremacy throughout the territory and independence in international relations extend to the airspace above the state territory. The goals of national regulation in the field of international air navigation and international air transport are determined by the specific conditions of the state, which are influenced by the size of the territory, the degree of national economic development, domestic and international politics. The objectives of regulation of international air navigation are: A. Ensuring flight safety, B. Determination of the conditions for admission to flight of civil aircraft, C. Organization of flights, management and control of them by air navigation service, D. Protection of sovereignty airspace, E. Rendering assistance to aircraft in distress. The principle of reciprocity plays an extremely important role in protecting and ensuring the economic interests of both the state and air carriers in the implementation of international air transportation. The principles of freedom of flight outside the state territory applies to airspace located above the exclusive economic zone and high seas. Such airspace is considered to be international or open. In addition, when using freedom of flight, states are obliged to complete with the flight rules recommended by ICAO, prevent incidents in the airspace over the high seas and prevent its pollution, provide assistance to ships and aircraft in distress, and don't allow the flight of the aircraft without identification marks. And now you see a glossary. In conclusion, I want to say that the international legal and national civil aviation safety regimes closely interact with each other based on the principle of ensuring the safety of international civil aviation and that the objective of national regulation in the field of international air navigation and international air transport are determined by the specific conditions of the states, which are influenced by the size of the territory and degree of national economic development, domestic and international politics. That's all. Thank you for all your attention and your time. Goodbye.